What's up everyone, MK Tom Brady here. In this video, I want to talk about a tweet that I read this morning. It's from Unruly, and it says, for people in the NRS community asking, when is more DLC? When do we get more news? When is Injustice 3? Let's not forget we are still in a pandemic. Game production has been slowed down big time. Now is the time to be patient with game devs. We are all going through tough times. And this is very, very, very true. The community right now is in a state of unrest. Everybody wants to know, when's new content coming? Is it going to be a new game? Is there going to be a combat pack? Is there going to be an overhaul to the game? Very much like MKXL, the final version of MKXL where they, totally overhauled the whole game. What are we getting? Everyone questions when, Tyler Lansdowne tweets about the Chiefs, what are you doing? Why aren't you giving us news? Are we really being unfair? I mean, we're all affected by this global pandemic, right? In some way, shape, or form, right? So are we actually being unfair? Normally, I would say, yeah, we should be patient. We know things have slowed down, and the production of everything is slowed down, especially anything media-wise, music, movies, everything, games, titles will probably launch dates get pushed back, DLC gets pushed back, etc. But the reason why people are so upset is because of poor timing. While we understand we're in a global pandemic, trolling the bejesus out of people, poking your community with a stick, tends to get them upset. Like, for example, Ed Boon here on Twitter. Remember when he made this tweet? Somebody tweeted a picture of Ed Boon walking, holding hands with his Mortal Kombat 11 girlfriend. And anything else walks by and Ed Boon's like, yeah, I'll take that, right? The hell with MK11. And Ed Boon tweets, okay, that was funny, but we ain't done, not even close. This shows signs that they're not done, right? But what's this? Ed Boon tweeted the same thing earlier, seconds before. Somebody, because nothing of it disappears on the internet, and he tweets this. He deleted the MK11 and reposted. Am I digging too deep? And what happened was, Ed Boon took that same tweet, that same picture, and he first tweeted, okay, that was funny, but we ain't done with MK11, not even close. He deleted that tweet and then retweeted it with, okay, that was funny, but we ain't done, not even close. He removed MK11. Is he trolling us? Did he know someone would notice that and, start news? Okay. After COVID, I would love to do another Realm Cup, including our 4 most recent games. People love it. People are getting into it, getting hyped. We all know you can't really play MK9 and Injustice 1. New players would never be able to play that. The netcode is unplayable. Now, we don't know how long COVID's going to last. Some people think it could be quite a long time. A year, maybe longer. No one really knows. Is this going to be the new normal for some time to come? We don't know. Nobody knows. And he says, but if COVID lasts for years, which it might, then we might have to add rollback code to MK9 and Injustice 1. That's never going to happen, right? It's never going to happen. Why? Why even troll people with something that is never going to happen in these times? Normally this is okay. But just like our impatience, kind of a bad time, poking us with a stick, this is the worst time to poke us with a stick. Or how about the time he made a play on words and said, oh, look, my name is listed next to The Rock for the panel. And he says, I'm on the panel with The Rock, as a joke because they listed his name on the panel with The Rock and obviously he wasn't going to be on there. People couldn't tell if he was serious or joking, so the whole MK community is sitting there retweeting DC fandom thinking Ed Boon is going to be on at this time with some type of announcement, maybe DC related, and we got nothing. Tormenting your community as a joke It's probably not a good way to bring about their patience. Now, let me say something right now about this whole thing in patience and why COVID, there's nothing good about COVID, but where for at least the development of Mortal Kombat games, there could be a silver lining at the end of this. And here's why. So let's just say they had planned to do Aftermath maybe a few weeks earlier. Let's say COVID cut into the release of Aftermath by a couple of weeks, right? So Aftermath, let's say, would have come out sooner. Without COVID, we wouldn't have had tournaments would still be happening. We'd have CEO and Combo Breaker, ECT, et cetera, et cetera. And probably at one of these tournaments, NetherRealm would probably show a trailer of like either a final endgame patch or another combat pack with a final endgame patch, and probably announce a Pro Series 2. I think that's pretty fair to say, to give them that benefit of the doubt, but obviously COVID happens and everything kind of just stops, right? Okay. So to be fair, we probably would have had all of this stuff already. At least it would have been announced, and we would have a good idea what's coming and when it's coming. And of course, COVID has really stopped all of that. But here's my thing. For one, MK11 has always to me felt like we're playing a game in early access. What I mean is they introduced a lot of new things into the game, like meter generating by itself as opposed to the player actions causing meter to be generated. So it's self-regeneration. Breakaway instead of breaker. Fatal blow instead of X-ray. 99 wake-up options instead of the usual amount we have. Just a whole bunch of new changes to the system in general. Even to the variation system. Start off with 2 variations and custom variations that you can make. And some of those variations, like I hate to say something was rushed. In today's day, everything is rushed because it's just so easy to fix it and change it once it's launched. So, yeah, rushed. That's kind of like an overused term because it applies to everything. But I'm going to say that, yes, it was released a little early, but everything goes through that. And, then they added a 3rd variation, and it's kind of like, okay, do we want to add more base moves to each variation? Do we want to change the properties of certain moves, add more special moves? What do we want to do with the variation system to give it more depth that the players are asking for, right? Like a whole bunch of stuff. And so it feels like we're just waiting for them to gather. And look, I'll give it to them. They gathered as much information as possible, didn't do any type of knee-jerk reaction patches. And let's say they say, okay, now we know what we want to do about this. We've heard the players' feedback. We know how we're going to change this, and add more depth to the variations, etc. Okay, sounds good. However, no one has ever forced them to release a game every 2 years to maximize on profit, right? I mean, if MK was released every 3 years and they had that extra year development time, the game would be released and they would have a lot more information. And probably Breakaway wouldn't be like this. The wake-up system wouldn't be like this. Like the variations, they would have more and more depth to them. Just a lot of stuff, Like at this point, testers could have been testing the game for a whole nother year. And of the whole nother year of testing, they probably could have said, dude, we test this game every day and we're even bored, right? And then they say, okay, well, what do we have to do? How do we add more depth to the variation system? How do we whatever? More time always equals more polish. If their games were released every 3 years instead of every 2, like they probably said, hey, okay, we'll release the game. Then a year in, we're going to, bam, Aftermath, and a couple of months after that, or like a month after that, bam, endgame patch. Basically a year into the game, we're going to complete it with another combat pack, or like I said, an endgame patch, overhaul the system with all this data we've collected over the last year. Only a global pandemic hit, and now that's not possible. And who knows when or if we're ever going to get new DLC, new content for this. We may never get that endgame patch. We may just get a new game announcement, etc. Who really knows where they're going with this? But my point here is that maybe the only good thing to come out of this is, maybe they'll say, okay, if they're going to give us new content for this game, obviously there's no point in giving us new content and then 3 months later releasing a new game, right? There's no point to that. So maybe they'll take more time, get this content right, and then release it and then say, okay, now, we're going to delay the launch of our game by like 6, 7, 8 months, and go on a 3-year plan going forward. I think this is the best possible thing that could ever happen to Mortal Kombat. Also, lack of communication doesn't help. To say, listen, people don't even know if new content is coming to MK11, right? I understand there are reasons for not giving specifics. You might talk about something and then change your mind and not want to put it in the game. And then people are like, oh, what about when they promised us this? I understand there's no winning in the court of public opinion. I understand that. But some type of communication would help. Hey guys, we are going to overhaul the game. Be patient for an announcement coming soon. COVID has really slowed things down. Okay, we got it. We know they're overhauling the game. Hey guys, we're not doing too much more. Just a couple of bells and whistles. And we're moving on to our next project. Stay tuned for an announcement coming sometime in fall or whatever. Okay, we got it. No communication whatsoever. We have no idea what's happening. And that is what is causing the unrest. People are not impatient because, we're just like, we're not being fair to the devs. A lot of people feel like it's the other way around and that the people are the ones who are not, they're not being fair to them. Like, just say something that's not trolling them. The only communication we get is straight trolling. Hey guys, you want an NRS cup? No. Hey, you want some GGPO on classic games? Nope, you're not going to get that neither. Do you want... we ain't done with MK11. Let me delete that and say we ain't done. So, while Unruly makes a great point, there's a lot being left out here. Will NRS go on to a 3-year plan? Will we get new DLC content and a new game? Just a new game? Will it be an Injustice 3? Will it be something else? MKDC 2? Or something completely different? Who knows? Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, everyone. And I will see you next time.